Welcome back to Fairy Tale Anime Review. This is episode number 21. This one reviewing the 289th episode of the series, Mavis and Zeref. This one adapts chapters 449 to 450. Pretty much the majority of this episode is a flashback, but it also serves as a follow-up to Fairy Tale Zero. Yeah, picks up right where last week's episode left off, where Mavis is explaining to everybody the origin of Fairy Heart, where they show kind of what happened at the end of Fairy Tale Zero, and of course the founding of Fairy Tale, and of course it was the whole thing what happened with her using fairy law, though she's called law, but technically it's fairy law, and so she basically becomes a military strategist in the Second Trade War, which Fairy Tale took part in and helped win the war. And eventually, of course, Makarov's father got married. His wife's name is Rena. And is it just me, or does Makarov's father, locks look exactly like his great-grandfather? I don't know why Mavis has never told him that he has a striking resemblance to, Makarov's father. And also it's revealed in the flashback that she's the one who named Makarov. So she's known Makarov since he was born. Yep. And it's also explained not long after Makarov was born, Makarov's mother Rina died. Because it was revealed by Zeref, who also decided to sort of have a little head tap, light tap in a way, and he of course examining her. And it turns out that she has the same curse he does. And everything's all hunky-dory until she dies, and of course she gets upset and leaves. And she nearly starved herself over the course of an entire year. And then of course the episode ends with her making out with Zeref for the first and only time. And apparently she dies. Oh yeah, and prior to this, before he did the whole tap thing before where she got nervous at him doing that he told her his name. And, of course, it was the first time from her perspective. First time in, a year since they last saw each other. And of course, that's when they went to the field, and, of course, examining her. And, of course, him telling her that his name is Zeref, of course, and being the Black Wizard Zeref. And she did not initially know that. And, of course, she had heard stories about him, all really terrible. And he told her that, yeah, a lot of them are pretty true. What people say about me. And of course, we see him later on, before he makes out with Mavis. He tells her about the pretty much this whole flashback is setting up stuff in present day with the whole thing of the Alvarez Empire, him being Emperor Sprocket, and him treating his own people as pawns, which is meant to protect them. And of course, when you see Mavis, she's not wearing the nice outfit she's known for wearing. She is wearing rags. And I don't know, nobody will point this out, Mavis. Her hair is really, really long. It goes down to her feet. And here's something strange about Mavis that apparently no one has ever pointed out about her. The three guys who helped found Fairy Tale with her. I don't know why none of them asked, Mavis, where are your shoes? Because almost any time you see her, with the exception of the opening episode from Fairy Tale Zero, she's basically walking around barefoot. She walks around a freaking battlefield without any shoes on. Yeah. And nobody brings this up at all. Yeah, it's one of the most bizarre things about Mavis. She walks around everywhere with shoes on. She walks on a ship that could probably give her splinters, and she walks on barefoot. Yeah, as far as I can tell, there's been no explained reason for this at all. Yeah. Now, no one's ever told Mavis she is a beautiful girl. She's beautiful. She's when she first showed up in the series, in Fairy Tale Zero, she was roughly 13. And at least got praise the anime for changing the scene from the manga when they show her and her best friend, let's say, bathing. In the manga, they were in the nude. In the show, they're wearing swimsuits, which that was a lot more acceptable than seeing two 13-year-olds in the nude. Though when Mavis passed away, she was 16. Yep. But then pretty much this episode is the first of a two-parter explaining pretty much what Mavis was up to after the events of Fairy Tale Zero. Yeah. This overall was a pretty good episode and set up for more stuff in next week's episode, which is also kind of the origin of Fairy Heart itself. It's more an explanation, probably conclusion for it. And I did check, and the next week's episode is also adapting 2 chapters, though. Excuse me. Though I think with 291, I think this one's back to doing 3 chapters. I don't really know. I think I know the reason why they did this, where they just shortened it down to just 2 chapters for this episode and the following one. My personal guess is the reason why they did that is because they want to keep this thing going for a bit, because there's really not many chapters. I mean, they just finished, I think, 450, which means they have 95 chapters left. And after next week's episode, it's going to be like 93. I mean, this is, of course, the dub. And the sub, they're already pretty much up to like, I think almost up to 460 by now. But there's not many chapters left to adapt for this particular series. And my friend Edgar really would love to see, and of course, I love to see this too, where Fairy Tale Century Quest, where that gets adapted for an anime. I personally would love it. After all, it's a continuation of the manga, so why the heck not? But who knows? Yeah, who the heck knows? But I do think the next week's episode will wrap up this flashback stuff. Though it's good flashback stuff, and I appreciate the fact we got to focus on Mavis of all people. And yeah, it's also revealed in this episode that the other 10 people who see Mavis, it was a projection. Yeah, it was just a projection. Though she also explained it where apparently only people with the fairy tale mark can see her. Yep. So that's it for this particular review. Stay tuned for my comment corner, where I got 2 extra trees to talk about, okay? But see you next review. Bye.